Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ana Munguia, and I love helping people, girls, with unplanned pregnancies and how to figure out their lives and how to go on into making that baby the best thing that ever happened to them. Why do I like this space? Because I have been there. I done that. I was there, not once, but twice. And I always say this because I want you to know that I am a safe person to talk to. But today, the subject is, are you pro-life or are you pro-choice? And I come to this subject right now because I've been hearing and seeing all the riots that are going on around here. And it's never right to kill somebody, to asphyxiate somebody that it's innocent. And that moved my heart also in talking about the pro-life talk or the pro-choice talk. So before you continue watching me, I want to tell you, I am 100% pro-life, but I'm going to explain why. If you are pro-choice, you want to continue watching, it's fine. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not here to condemn people who are pro-choice, but I want you to just know the difference, because in this age, there's a lot of people, a lot of youth people, young people that say they're pro-choice, but have never, ever been confronted with a pregnancy, or they have never known really what an abortion is. And I want to be truthful here. I haven't either. I saw for the first time an abortion procedure like probably 3 years ago. And I'm in my late 50s. So if I had never seen one, there's a chance that a lot of people have never seen it, and they just choose to be pro-choice just because it's cool to be pro-choice, or it's because you are truly defending the woman's choice to decide. But what is after that? I'm going to go into it and how that has affected my life, because it has. Even though I'm pro-life and I have never done that choice, it has affected my life. So I come from this place of being pro-life just because when I encountered myself with my first unplanned pregnancy, I was in a lot of turmoil. I was in a scary place. I felt lonely. I felt nobody could understand me. I felt I had no one to talk to. I felt I had messed up my life. I felt I had ruined my life. I had ruined all my plans. I thought, or I felt bad about myself. I felt dirty because I had broken my own rules. I felt disappointed, very disappointed about my choices. And so, having been exposed to that decision, it's not the same to say that you are pro-choice when you are not exposed to a decision of what to do with that baby that you have in your womb. Because you can say things very freely if you have not going into that same situation. And I know, and I have met people who have been very pro-choice until they watched with their own eyes a real abortion, and they understood how much of a killing a baby is and how much of a murder, of destroying an innocent life is. But the thing is that I'm in this space because when I encounter myself in my first unplanned pregnancy, being single, being pregnant of somebody I just met, and I was not in love with him. And it was just a thing that I did. And I never in my life thought that only one encounter would make me pregnant. Because as we are growing up, as was at least when I was growing up, we used to make fun, or I used to make fun. I'm going to talk for myself. I used to make fun of people that would say that they only had one encounter and they got pregnant. And I was saying, that can't happen. That's impossible. And I'm talking this without being sexually active. So I'm talking theory without knowing the truth. And when I became pregnant with one encounter, having protection, I had to eat my own talk, my own mouth, my own sayings. I had to eat myself, the words I have said, because I had learned of other girls that had gotten pregnant and they had said they had only one encounter and they got pregnant, and I never believed them. I thought they were sexually active and very active and for them to get pregnant. I didn't know better because I didn't know much about sex in those days back then. And if you see me here talking about these things in my late 50s, is because I had that burden then, and I know that things haven't changed much. A lot of girls get into sexual activity thinking that it can never happen to them, just like me. I thought it would never happen to me, but it did. And when it happens, then you have to get in front of the choices of what to do. In my mind, I never considered abortion as one of my choices. And this is because when I was in college, I went through college without being sexually active, which is a miracle by itself. And some people would say, that's not possible. Yep, I did. And I was living away from home, so I could be easily could have been active. And I'm glad I didn't, because I didn't know how fertile I was. Anyway, what happens is that I had these friends from my dorm, and we went to this dance that was included in the tuition of the college where I went to. And we went to this dance, and then one of the girls had this date that was not not her boyfriend. She had a boyfriend back home, but we had this friend that I'm gonna call her Sally, just to call her something. And Sally said that she had this date from this guy that was her classmate, and that he was a really cute guy, and that he had made on reservations in Howard Johnson's to go after the dance. And we told Sally, no, don't do that. I mean, you have a boyfriend back home. Don't go with him. And she said, no, it's totally innocent. We're friends. We're just going to go there, hang out with other friends. We're a crowd going up. It's not just him and me. And okay, so we said, fine, your choices. And she went. Of course, it was only her and him. Nobody else was there. So she knew it or not, we don't know. But she went with him. And the following day, she comes to the dorm and tells us all about it, that it was so much fun, that she talked all night long, that she made some massage in his feet, and they started to know each other, but he knew that she had a boyfriend back home, so nothing happened, and nothing happened, and nothing happened, and she swore that nothing had happened. And we believed her because we had nothing to prove or lose, so we believed her. And life went on. A month later, or a month and a half later, she comes with her face down, and she goes, girls, I think I'm pregnant. And we go, what? wait a second, wait a second. Let's go to the calendar. And I was the calendar girl. I always had a calendar because I like to know where I'm at in the month and what's going on. And I always put special things, occasions that I have to remember, I put them in the calendars. So I took her to my calendar. And with the other friends that we had in that dorm, we went there and we started counting the days. And we asked, when was your for last period? Sure, we marked it there. Okay. So we started counting. And we said, Sally, it has to have been that day that you went in that date with that guy that you said you did nothing. She just looked at us and said, yep, that's it. So see, you lied to us. Why lie to us? We were not going to say anything. We don't care. But she lied because she was ashamed of what she had done. And of course, she entered in panic mode and she didn't know what to do. And she immediately called the guy. And the guy said, get an abortion. I'm not going to deal with that. And she says, what? She goes, yep, I'm going to get you the money. Go find out how much it is and I'm going to get you the money. You're nothing to me. I don't want to deal with that. And that's exactly what she told us, that the guy had told her. Besides, she had a boyfriend back home and she could not tell her boyfriend that she had been active sexually with somebody else. And so she came to us, her group of friends, the support group she had. And she said that she had decided to have an abortion. Now, I'm talking of 1980, probably that was like 1981. Yeah, around 1981. In the 80s, I was 17, 18. I went to college at 17, so probably I was like 18. Had never had sex before, so I had no idea what an abortion was, what really was an abortion, what would that go on? And if I would have known what I know now, of course, I would have talked her out of it. But at that time, I just wanted to be a good friend and a good support to the decision that she has taken. So 3 of us friends went with her, she was the 4th one, to this clinic that we were sitting out there near our college. And we were waiting outside, the 3 of us, talking of how is that going to affect her? How is she going to take it? And my other friends were Americans. I'm the only Latin here in this situation. And I was the only naive one here. And they didn't want to tell me much about it because I was so naive and innocent. And she went in and she went out. Like in less than half an hour, she was in and out. And she came out and we said, how do you feel? And she just said, I'm hungry, let's go eat. And we just looked at each other. And she said, and we said, okay, let's go eat. So it was because it was near lunchtime. So we went out, we ate something in downtown. There was a little restaurant there. So we went out and eat. And then after that, what I saw of her is that she lost her north. She became very conscious about it because that's what happens. You become very conscious about it and think that everybody knows about what you have done or what you have, and nobody knows about it. And that happened to me when I became pregnant. I thought everyone knew about it. Everybody, what was society going to think? What was my parents going to think? What are my cousins going to think? What am I going to think? What is everybody going to think? And we don't stop and ask, what is God going to think? And in my case, I had no idea how to make a single mother, because in my family, both sides, mom's and dad's side, there was no one that was a single mother. I had no idea how to become a single mother. And I always remembered that scene when I took my friend when I accompanied with the other two girlfriends, this girl, Sally, it's not her name, to that clinic to have an abortion. And I didn't like how she turned around her life. She became very promiscuous and started taking the pill like on the dot at 6 p.m. every single night, punctually, because she did not want to get pregnant again. But she was one of those girls that would get ready on the weekends to go to the bars to be picked up. So she became like a very easy girl to that. She slept with I don't know how many guys. And of course, she flunked out of college and she had to return home. She left to go to her town. I don't know if she was from New Jersey or Connecticut. I don't know. I studied in New England. So she was somewhere from New England. And I didn't like that. I was an A student. I was an honor roll student. I was there in college with a lot of effort from my father to send me up to college, and I wanted to be a good student. And my thank you note to my parents was to have good grades. So I didn't like what she said, what she did, and how she resulted. So when I became pregnant that time, abortion was not one of my options because I didn't like the results. And I didn't know yet everything involved in how that goes of ripping the baby up and everything. So my decision was to be the first single mother in my family and break up with my boyfriend, or be single and still be boyfriend and girlfriend with him and co-parent the baby, or get married to the guy. That was my three choices. So, as if you have heard one of my other videos, I did decided for marriage to this guy just because I had been pregnant of him, not because I loved him, because there was not a long relationship. It was a short relationship and it just happened. And I talk about not deciding marriage because you're pregnant. Nobody told me I didn't have to marry the guy. Nobody told me I had no obligation, because this was just in my mind that I thought that everybody knew, and I had to the moral obligation to marry him just to clean my mind and my morale. At this time, I was already Christian, but I did not even ask God what he wanted for my life. I did not need put myself I need myself and ask for God in prayer what he wanted me to do with my life. I just decided because I was a moral person. I was just more um more interested in what people would say. Funny thing is that when I got divorced and I would date people and I would tell my story and I wanted people to know that I had had a miscarriage. I had a miscarriage. I didn't say that. I had a miscarriage and I still married the guy. And then they would ask me, why did you get married then if you had a miscarriage? And I would say because of that, because I felt morale, I felt pressured myself, emotionally pressured to do so, to clean my name, And then every guy that I would confess that to, he would tell me that was dumb. And I would say, yeah, that was dumb. It was dumb. But then 33 years after my miscarriage of my first unplanned pregnancy, I came into the conclusion that I have a story to tell, that I have been there, and I can understand the unplanned pregnancy girls that are in a turmoil in that moment, and that I can be that adult that I never had when I had my unplanned pregnancy, and I can be the adult that you can come up with, that you can talk to, that you can reach out without judgment. Yes, I would never recommend you an abortion, that's for sure. Never, ever. I'm going to recommend life all the time. And as I start to work with unplanned pregnancy girls, sorry, I can say I have saved several babies already from being killed in an abortion. And I feel so happy that they have chosen that decision. And they send me pictures of their babies, and they're happy they decided for life, and they are thankful that they could reach out to somebody to get help, emotional help. Some of them I have not even given them much physically, but just to have somebody to talk, that makes a big difference in the emotions of the girl that is in panic. And I have had two girls that I know that I have talked to and I have been close to that were pregnant because of rape. The first one, she was 14 and got raped by a guy that was near her town, near her house, that was a very respected man. He was a father of two girls and a husband. Yet he had this little secret that he loved to rape girls, innocent teen girls. She was 13 when she got pregnant, and she was 14 when she gave birth. The girl suffered like 8 months in silence without telling her parents because she was so frightened. Because the guy, of course, had told her that if she would say something, he was going to kill her parents. And she was protecting the parents and would suffer by herself that pregnancy. And they never noticed anything on her because they were not expecting her to be pregnant. So parents just don't look, that we look at the kids and we don't see them because we see them the same every day. And that happened to me, with my son when he was like around 13 or 14. It's like they grow up with you. They're here, they're around. My kids are always with me. They're around me, and I take them to school, and I would go pick them up and everything. And one day we were in our garden, and we're talking and laughing, and then he just laughs, and I see his teeth that they were like all crippled inside his mouth. And he had this horrible mouth full of teeth that were not in the right place. And I was like, oh my God, come here, honey, open your mouth. And that's when I realized that he needed an orthodontist in that moment. But he had been like that like for months, and I hadn't noticed. So that happens also with the girls, the teen girls that our parents are not expecting to see anybody pregnant. So these girls suffer for 8 months until she was discovered because she got really sick and she was taken to the hospital. And that's when the news came out to the family that she was pregnant. And this is a good girl, a good student, a girl that was a home girl, that didn't even have a boyfriend, had never been kissed in her life. But this guy had been abusing her, who knows how long. And she had to confess it. And happy to tell you that the guy was investigated. And he's in prison right now, paying the sentence that he was a rapist. And they could prove that because the baby's DNA said that he was the father. So the baby saved the life of this girl and of all these other girls around the town. At the beginning, the people around her was saying that she was the one that offered herself and everything, but time has made her so clean. And now they have a beautiful, beautiful little girl of 2 years old, and beautiful girl. And she's like the light of the family. Thankfully, the parents are together. She has two other brothers, and now they had the little kid, and she's the light of the story. And happy to know that she chose, and she was given the option of abortion when they discovered that she had been pregnant because of rape. And in my country, abortion is not legal. And even though it's not legal, they told her that she had the choice to abort the baby for how she was conceived. And she said that it's a life I'm carrying. I'm not going to kill that life. And she chose life. And now, as I tell you, it's the light of the family. Anyway, that's the first one. The other one is she was raped by a stranger, and she was desperate because she couldn't tell her mother, because when the issue happened, when she was raped, she came home, and this is a mother of another girl. She's 4 years old. She's a mother of a 4-year-old, and she came home and told her mother that she had been raped, and she wanted to go to a hospital to be checked up and to probably get the pill after or something. And the mother said, don't even tell me these things. And the mother didn't believe her. And she said, if you don't take me to the hospital, if you don't go with me to the hospital, take care of my daughter so I can go by myself. And the mother did not help her, not even to babysit her daughter, and nor to take her. Some mothers don't react fast. Some mothers just get numb in the situation, don't even want to look into it. And long story short, she did get pregnant. And when she found out she was pregnant, she was like around probably 4 months when she reached out. And I started talking to her. And the first thing I asked her, do you want to abort? And she said, no. And I said, why? Because I asked, because I'm not God to decide for you. So I asked her, do you want to abort? And she said, no. And I go, why? And she said, because the baby doesn't have any fault in this situation. I'm not going to kill a baby that I have in my womb for how it was conceived. I don't believe in that, she told me. I'm Christian and I don't believe in that. And I'm like, way good. I'm like, congratulations. I'm happy for you. How can I help you? And she said that her mother couldn't know because she was going to kill her. And she was in a big situation that nobody could know near her. And she was in danger because the guy was somebody from around her town, but they were not friends with anybody. He just goes once in a while. Apparently he has some family around there and he's not from the town constantly. He just visits the place, and she was afraid to encounter the guy. So I took her out. I put her into a home for pregnant girls, and she had the baby, and thankfully she could birth that baby, another girl. And she was happy she birthed it. And we found the right thing to do with the baby, and she was given into adoption. And the family that adopted her are the happiest in the world because they couldn't conceive and they were praying for a baby. And she came out of nowhere into their lives, and so the happy ending was good. So they chose life. Both of them chose life. The 14-year-old had the support of the family, so they kept the baby, and she's growing there. And the other one didn't have the support of her mother and the family. She doesn't have a father. Who knows where the father is? Has many generations in her family. So she found the way of adoption and happy ending. So those are two cases of rape that they gave life. I mean, if you're conceived through rape, the baby is the victim and has no understanding of what's going on. And if you're giving that burden that you have been pregnant because of being forced to sexual relationships that you do not want to, I just believe that God has a better plan that you don't know and you won't understand. But He has a plan to be somebody that can raise the voice to know that He wanted that DNA to make that baby for a purpose. So you just maybe don't know in the moment, but they grow up and they'll find their way in their talents and how to serve the world. So those are two extreme cases. And I have also counseled girls that they're just sexually active before they should be, And of course, it happens. They think it will never happen to them, and oops, yes, it happens. And of course, in the cases where you're sexually active with your boyfriend and you know the risk and don't care because you think it's never going to happen, um, most of these girls choose abortion because it's inconvenient. But you know why the victim has to be the one that has to suffer the death penalty? This is why I'm very big in telling you to choose life and choose adoption as an option. If you are not ready to be a parent of that baby, it's okay. God sometimes sends, not sometimes, many times, God chooses you to birth the baby, to give it to a family that really needs to have a baby that can't birth them themselves. And God makes that too, and they make the big choices in the combination. I have heard so many stories of girls that have been adopted, and they had wonderful lives, wonderful parents, and a better situation than if the mother would have kept the baby. So don't be afraid of that option. Just choose life. And believe me, the choice of life is going to give you more satisfaction into your life than if you chose to get rid of your baby. The word that they use, the pro-life people, the pro-choice people use, is terminate the pregnancy. But you do not terminate the pregnancy. You kill the baby. And if you go to a sonogram and ask to see the picture of when you're getting an ultrasound, you're going to see the beating of your heart, of the heart of the baby. Because by the time you know you're pregnant, that heart is beating already. It has been beating for already at least a week or 2 weeks before you know. Because the heartbeat starts to beat at 3 weeks. People who do not want to see that are the ones that say that it's only a bunch of cells, but it isn't. That's a big lie. And because there's life there, I just can't imagine the hurt of remembering that baby as something that you got rid of. And believe me, when I had my miscarriage, at that time, I was so happy that I lost the baby because I didn't have to deal with choosing to be a single mother or not. And probably I would have chosen to get married anyway if I would have kept the baby. But I had a miscarriage. And that miscarriage, even though in the moment I was happy, when I was in my 40s and I started thinking about that baby, I hadn't even told this story to my husband because I got remarried and I had another husband and for almost 27 years now. But when I started telling my story and I started talking about that miscarriage, my husband once told me, "You didn't even tell me that." And he was my best friend, and I never confessed that sin and didn't confess that secret because I was ashamed of it. So I would not talk about it anymore. For a long time, I never talked about that baby, my baby Gabriel. His name is Gabriel, and I recognize him. And he would be almost 36 years old this year, 2020, that I'm doing this live. He's going to turn 36 years this October 2020. Now it's May. Now it's June. But I didn't recognize him publicly for more than 30 years. I hurt in my heart about him because I didn't give him the gift of life. Now you're going to tell me, "Oh, but that was a miscarriage. How can you give a gift of life?" Yes, I had a miscarriage that I think I provoked because I did not take care of myself. I went into jumping and I did things that I shouldn't have done. I mean, I never punched my thing inside, I didn't do those things, But I just think I didn't take care of myself. And if I would have taken care of myself, gone to the doctor, maybe he would have put me into bed to birth that baby, but I didn't. I just ignored the symptoms because I didn't want the baby. So in the moment, it feels good that you got rid of it. But that shadow and that little secret comes with you the rest of your life. And it's not going to get away until you come into healing, a healing process. So if you have been pro-choice and you have been involved in an abortion, or you have accompanied somebody like I did in my youth to have an abortion, you were part of it too. I was part of that murder because I accompanied her in my ignorance. Yes, in my ignorance, without knowing what it was, but I did it. And when I got pregnant, I didn't want the baby. I rejected the baby and I just didn't take care of myself. And I had a miscarriage. And I remember my Gabriel and I asked him to forgive me because it hurt that I didn't have that baby. How my life would have looked like if I would have had that baby. I don't know. I will never know. And until I am in heaven with him, I'm going to ask him, what was your mission in life that I missed? Because a whole generation was gone there. And so if you are pro-choice, just my message is to think about it. Why you defend that choice when you know there's a little baby there? I mean, it's not possible that a happy pregnancy has a baby and an unhappy pregnancy doesn't have a baby, doesn't only has cells. It's just the same baby. Of course, not the same baby. I mean, different DNA, but there is a baby. So think, why do you defend that option so much? Is it because you did it already? Or is it because you wanted to help other people and think that's the right thing to do, to help those women to have a choice of what to do with their body? Well, the baby's another body. It's not her body anymore. So think why you have that choice. And if you have been involved in it, if you have had an abortion, or you have been involved in it, doing it, or serving people to do it, and you want healing, reach out. Because I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to heal you, to help you in your life, to go on and reconstruct your life. Because that hurt is accompanying yourself until you get healed. It has been a shadow in my life for a long time. And I think I have advanced a lot in this healing from my Gabriel, that I did not give him the right to live, even though it was a miscarriage. And I feel there's a shadow there that has been following me, so much so that I am going to a retreat, a healing retreat, in about a couple of months, because I want to be free, totally free about this thing that I carry in my head and my soul. Because those things, those episodes in your life are little secrets or big secrets that you have to get them out somehow. And if you don't get them out somehow, your body is going to do it somehow, either through arthritis or cancer or high blood pressure or headaches or somehow problems with your stomach. I don't know. There's so many ways that the body would get out your little secrets. A lot of diseases are because we have secrets in our souls. So if you want help, please reach out. I'm here for that. And definitely, if you have an unplanned pregnancy, I want to help you. Or if you had an unplanned pregnancy before and you still have the burden of how you feel about it, that you were pressured into having the baby, or you were pressured into giving the baby into adoption and you didn't want to do that, or you have something that you don't know who to talk with, I'm that person. I'm here to help you because I've been there, done that. I also have 2 more children that I planned. And believe me, the feelings are so different. The emotions are totally different when you plan than when you do not plan. And this is my mission here, to help people that have gone through these journeys, to help them heal and to reconcile with God. Because I am a big believer that Jesus is my Savior and the only healer that we can have in this earth. So thank you for listening. If you're already up to here, please reach out, write any comments below. I'm leaving my email so you can reach out and write to me for any help that you need. Thank you, and I want to see you again. Subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, because I'm putting up an episode a day for the first 30 days that I am in YouTube. So thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.